Thank you, everybody, and thank you for joining us. This is going to be a great session because we'll have a number of entrepreneurs who will show you some of the important work that they're doing, and as well as 3 very seasoned panelists who will ask them great questions. We always talk about climate change in the sense of we need to solve this problem like it was an earthshot. And I want you to remember 2 things. One is when John F. Kennedy said we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of this decade, he said we choose to do it. With climate change, it's not a choice. We must do it. But the other part of this is when he said we're going to do this, they only had 7 years left in that decade. And the story goes that everybody in the room, all his staff, looked around and said, what is he talking about? But they got it done. We can do it too. But the difference is that John F. Kennedy was president of the United States. These wonderful entrepreneurs are not. So I ask you that today you be their ally, you be their friend. Every time anybody does something new, the answer is always, no, it can't be done. The market isn't right, the time isn't right, the idea isn't right, or it won't scale. I want you today to be their ally, not the department of no, but the department of yes. And I want each of you to think about how you're going to help them today, how you're going to help them tomorrow. And on that, I would like to introduce the panel, or at least I'd like them to introduce themselves. Andrew?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Andrew Forrest. I'm the founder, chairman of Fortescue, which is a very large industrial company in Australia, which is moving beyond fossil fuels completely in the next 4 or 5 years.
Next, Fatoumata.
Hi, I'm Fatoumata Ba. I'm from Senegal. I used to be a tech entrepreneur. I co-founded the first unicorn in Africa. We took it public on Wall Street 4 years ago, and now I run Africa's largest gender-equal technology fund.
And Mudassadi.
Hi, this is Mudassar Sheikha, co-founder of Kareem. Hopefully you used our services in Dubai. We started here as a ride-hailing service, and now we have a bunch of delivery services on the app that we call the Super App.
All right, now for the really fun part. Sarah Lemison, who's the co-founder of Dioxycle, will introduce you to her technology and the work that she's doing.
Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to be here today. Thank you for having me. So I'm Sarah. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Dioxycle. So Dioxycle is developing novel technology to convert carbon emissions into ethylene cost competitively with fossil. So in other words, we are targeting at scale to reach negative green premium. And this is important because ethylene, with a $180 billion market, is the world's most used organic chemical. It is used for different applications, from fabrics, polyester fabrics, to plastics used in packaging, auto parts, and also long-lasting products such as PVC or high-density polyethylene in the building industry. And so right now, ethylene is made through steam cracking of fossil resources. And so steam cracking is a high-temperature, highly emitting process. It not only requires fossil fuels to source the carbon that is then embedded into the ethylene, contributing 565 million tons of CO2 equivalent per year, but it also requires fuels to heat the process, contributing an additional 240 million tons of CO2 per year. And so in total, the ethylene production represents 800 million tons of CO2 per year, which is between 1% and 2% of the world's equivalent emissions. And so right now, sustainable alternatives exist to produce sustainable ethylene, but they all have, unfortunately, quite high green premiums. which is hampering the large-scale adoption of this technology. And so, for example, you have bioethanol dehydration, the methanol to olefin route, or biological processing of carbon emissions. But you also have some other routes, which I haven't put here, which consist in replacing the fuels to heat the process with electrification or hydrogen. And I haven't put them here because they still require the use of fossil to actually source the carbon that is then embedded in the ethylene. And so in that context, at Dioxycle, we are developing a novel technology. It's a carbon and novel type of electrolyzer, a carbon-based electrolyzer that is capable of converting carbon emissions, and I'm saying COX because it includes both CO emissions and CO2 emissions, into ethylene cost competitively. And so the electrolyzer that you see at the center, the way it works is it's a stack of individual cells that, when fed with COX and water, can actually make ethylene. And so each cell comprises 3 elements. A first electrode on the top that converts water to oxygen, a byproduct, separated by a membrane from a second electrode that converts your COX into ethylene. And so by combining innovation at all levels with 12 patent families to date, Dioxycle electrolyzer reached an unprecedented energy and cost efficiency. So we innovate at the component level by developing new proprietary ultra-cheap membranes, new catalysts. We innovate also at the system level with proprietary stack design and software, and at the industrial level by developing process integration schemes to retrofit existing assets so that we can actually maximize the cost efficiency overall. And so by doing that, we target 15% of energy efficiency increase compared to the best sustainable alternative, and also 50% less capex. And so after a 3,000 times scale up, we were starting from the lab scale out of Stanford, but still it's a big scale up, and which was supported by Breakthrough Energy Fellows program. We recently raised a 17 million Series A, led by Breakthrough Energy Venture and Lower Carbon, and we will be launching with this fund on-site pilot development in 2024 with industrial partners. And so we are right now partnering with industrial emitters from the steel, the chemical industry, ethylene off-takers, of course, and also brand owners in the textile, packaging, and automaking industries. So if there are sustainability leaders from this industry in this room, please get in touch. We would love to see how we can support your decarbonization ambition cost competitively. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Now you know why Sarah and her team are winners of the Breakthrough Prize as well as the X Prize. Congratulations for your great work.
We didn't get the X Prize, but I wish.
I'm just reading along.
I'm so sorry.
She's a winner. We know that, so it's all good. It's all good. Please, I will turn to the panel and let you all ask questions. Who wants to go first?
Sure, I'm happy to go
Ladies
first. Yeah. So Saha, that was fantastic. Congrats on being backed by Breakthrough Energy Ventures. What's the dream? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Well, what success looks like to us, and I think it's measurable in 10 years, is to have invented and put in place, scaled a process that is actually implemented as a standard in the industry, first of its kind, demo commercial and deployment. So yeah, making an industrial standard. That's the short answer.
Look, if I could ask a couple of questions. One is, ethylene's a long-chain polymer, which if you can make from waste carbon dioxide is really wonderful, as opposed to making new carbon dioxide. Will it break down any other way, or will it go back to a nanoparticle, or nanoplastic, which is a really dangerous element in Mother Nature?
Yeah, so I think, it's always a good point, but the good news is that we are making the exact same molecule. We are making ethylene C2H4. It's actually a short molecule. And, as long as there is the recycling at the end, we are just decarbonizing the upstream of making that ethylene. And then we just embed in the existing value chain for recycling and to avoid this pollution with microplastic. Of course, I'm hoping that in general, plastic will be less used, but there are like long-lasting products that we need, like PVC in your walls for like piping, and this we just need to decarbonize in a way that is meaningful.
So my second question is, and that's a really great answer, thank you. I think if you should be really successful. I think the world, particularly if it's cost efficient, should turn towards your way of making plastic as opposed to the fossil fuel way of making plastic. You'd be in a position to insist that phthalates, poisons, colourings, etc., which stop your plastic being recycled, doesn't go into your product. Would you consider doing that so it can be recycled?
I'm sorry, do you mind repeating the end? What do you want us to take out?
So I'm assuming that you will be very successful and that plastic formers who need their products for everyday building use, as you pointed out, or single-use consumption, that you could determine where that product goes. That you could say, well, we're happy to sell to you provided you do not put phthalates, poisons, colourings, all the things which stop plastic being recyclable but also dangerous to the human brain. Would you be prepared to make that insistence with your product so it can be recycled?
Yeah, definitely. Our first targeting market is long-lasting plastics for building materials. So yeah, definitely. And also, we have been asked previously on the upstream, like emission side, like, oh, could you work with like this coal or gas-fired power plant? And we were like, no way. Like, there's enough emissions that we are okay with so that we don't use these other ones. So it works on both ends.
Yeah, thank you. Because you should be able to push the market, and the market needs to go from those poisons.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we'll be in a position of leveraging one day.
Good.
Yeah, Sarah, thanks a lot. It's remarkable what you've done. My question is not knowing too much about the technology that goes behind it. Of course, it looks like a massive breakthrough. But are there other such breakthroughs, other such science, other such technologies that are being developed that could make something like this irrelevant or disrupt this?
Yeah, it's a good point. I think the biggest, the biggest alternative is replacing the heat, the fuels for the heat with hydrogen or electrification. But it doesn't. I think that's the next most cost-effective ways. But it doesn't take away the fuels that you need to extract to make the carbon content. So there's a limitation there. And I guess there's also like cracking of e-naphtha that is co-produced with e-fuel. But because everyone is going to e-fuel, there's not, in terms of like size of the market, there's supply, there's not enough to provide this market. So I think there are like different technologies that need to coexist on different type of process integration actually and depending also of whether you have cheap electricity or different things in different regions of the world.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Round of applause, please. The next entrepreneur that we're going to have up is Mr. Robert Niven. Where did you? He's the CEO and founder of Carbon Cure, and they are a winner of the X Prize. Robert.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. And thank you very much for having me here. It's been an incredible COP, and we just began. And thank you, judges, for spending your time with us and for your remarks today. I actually heard your past panel. I was really inspired. Thank you. I'm the CEO and founder of Carbon Cure. What our technology does is it's a carbon removal solution for the concrete industry. There's as much concrete that's made in the world. It's actually second only to drinking water in abundance. So it's a huge commodity product. And in fact, just yesterday, we heard Kara Hurst and Brad Smith from Amazon and Microsoft, respectively, talk about how they're using Carbon Cure on this very stage to decarbonize their buildings, being data centers and offices and so on. So why carbon removal and concrete, and how do those connect? Well, I think we're all aware that carbon removal is a necessary technology for us to meet our net zero targets. In the future, we will have some persistent emissions, and we look to carbon removal as a way for us to be able to remove that equivalent amount of CO2 and put that in long duration storage. In our case, we're advocating for using concrete as a first option, even before looking at geological sources, or at least in preference to. Concrete represents about 8% of the world's CO2 emissions. It is the dominant building product that's used in construction, so everything around us is typically made with concrete, and that means cities, and cities represent about a third of all CO2 emissions. We use carbon removal technologies to decarbonize this essential building material that is used for civilization, whether that be the old society, like homes and schools and roads, and modern economy as well, like data centers. The way that you think about carbon removal is that there's two basic parts. One is capturing the CO2 from the atmosphere, such as direct air capture or biogenic sources. And then, of course, what we do is actually permanently store that, and that's in the case of concrete. But we do that in a way that retrofits the existing industry, all 125,000 plants, in a way that actually creates value rather than imposing costs and ultimately a green premium on this commodity industry. This is who we are. We're based in Halifax, Nova Scotia. We're a Canadian company. We were founded in 2012 based on my thesis at McGill University. And since that time, we've been able to take that concept out of the lab. I'm originally a chemist and then an engineer, and then have scaled that to about 800 plants worldwide in 35 countries, including something we're pretty excited about, our first plants in Africa. So those will be announced a little later on this week. So this is a technology that I'm trying to emphasize that can be used in emerging markets and developed economies, and it's wherever concrete is being produced, which is everywhere, we can be using carbon removal technologies to lock away CO2 and create value while we're doing it. During this journey, yes, we did win the Carbon X Prize, which we're extremely excited about, and that was certainly an inflection point for our growth, and we're competing in the Carbon Removal X Prize right now as well. So how does this technology work? We're taking the natural reactivity of CO2 with the cementitious materials in concrete, but harnessing that reaction, that exothermic reaction, so that we're creating a very fine calcium carbonate within concrete. And this creates what's called a seeding reaction that provides higher strength for the concrete. That higher strength is then used by the concrete producers, our customers, to be able to reduce the amount of cement that they require in making concrete, ergo additional CO2 reductions, but also cost savings as well. The technology was certainly an innovation and something that we've worked really hard to achieve, but what was really unlocked a lot of growth for us was our business model. Many of our investors are actually tech companies, and we've stolen a lot of ideas from them, including the SaaS model. And it's one where we actually deploy this technology at a concrete plant in less than a day and charge no CapEx. This is an industry that has no discretionary budget, and certainly not on innovation or climate technology. So we take all of that frustration away and provide that equipment using a SaaS model. So we're paid a recurring revenue model from the savings that this technology creates. We're also aligned very much in decarbonization because we participate in the carbon markets. The more and more they use our product, the more and more CO2 savings that occur, which generate more credits, which then we actually split with them, or we send them a check with the proceeds of those carbon credits. It's an enormous market, and we're just getting started. While 800 plants may seem like a lot, we have so much more to do and new technologies that are stackable using some of the same scientific principles. We just closed this summer an $85 million growth round. For anyone raising capital right now, it's grueling. So I'm really happy to have that behind us, and we're getting back to the world of execution. We're really thankful for our lead investor, Blue Earth Capital, which was spun off from Partners Group, and many of our other investors that are included here today that have supported us at this last round and previous rounds as well. It was an oversubscribed round, and we'll be putting these proceeds to use and entering into new markets, building upon those markets that we've entered, all 35 of them, including here in the Emirates, and developing new technologies and new business models, such as being vertically integrated with our own dedicated CO2 capture business. Thank you all very much for your time, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
Thank you very much. Panel.
Congrats on what you achieved so far and on winning the Carbon X Prize. I was very excited to hear that you are having a first factory soon in Africa, because I believe that in emerging markets is where this is going to be the most massive. But then the question is, what's your thinking around affordability and inclusivity?
I think that's where the SaaS model comes in. We don't charge any CapEx, so it's really affordable, and the use of the technology creates the revenue to pay for those licensing fees. So I think essentially it has shown and proven to be applicable in many, many emerging markets, and not only those in Africa. So it's something that I really share your perspective on, is concrete is not being poured in anywhere near the same extent in New York or Zurich or those kinds of places. It's all emerging markets, and we're investing a lot of our efforts in growing in these regions.
And then the question is, do you already have a working proof of concept in emerging markets? If not, what does it take to get to proof of concept?
Absolutely. No, we are operating in many emerging markets on different continents. So we're on all 6 continents now, and have many of those plants are in emerging markets, albeit our largest market is where we started. So naturally, that's where the most deployment has occurred in the United States.
And what's the best way to help you scale in Africa?
Well, introductions to joint venture partners, certainly policymakers as well. One of the fastest levers that we've seen to scale this technology is through procurement policy. It tends to be a win-win that delivers CO2 reductions for that government, but also creates that really important market signal for this industry to prioritize decarbonization.
Thank you.
It's a policy model that we, I think, created in Hawaii, actually, and then have replicated it in many other subnational and federal governments.
Other questions?
Just, Robert, how do you calculate the size of this market on the concrete side, and what other extensions do you already have a view on from the first application of this technology?
Well, the size of the market, you can measure that in many different ways. It's 125,000 customer sites. We've now created 3 different products using similar technology that can all be cross-licensed. So you have multiple revenue streams, and all of those generate carbon credits so that we enhance that business model as well. Looking at another way, there's 40 billion tons of concrete that are produced every year. So enormous amount that generates that 8% of global CO2 emissions. Does that answer your question?
And is there a dollar figure that you get to when you add these things up?
It's certainly a multi-billion-dollar revenue opportunity, and it's reoccurring revenue as well.
Right.
And we still haven't done what we intend to do as well on some of the digital product lines as well. And I'm really excited through our entry into carbon markets. And our partnership with AWS and Microsoft, as we've developed some pretty interesting options there. And now we're looking at different products, digital products, that we can monetize that data.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert, look, congratulations. I'm interested in your ability to really simplify the answers here. So just give me 10 or 15 seconds on how does it work?
Are you a customer?
No.
You're an investor?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just purely interested. How does it work? And very simple explanation.
We add CO2 during the batching process of concrete. That CO2 is mineralized, so it's permanently stored from entering into the atmosphere. That CO2 mineralization reaction makes stronger concrete.
And the CO2 comes from a smokestack or a pollution source?
Not necessarily. Just a couple of weeks ago, we announced the first of a kind partnership with Heirloom, a direct air capture company, where we're using that CO2 captured from DAC. But most of our CO2 comes from biogenic sources. So the production of bioethanol is, in a way, an atmospheric CO2. And then that CO2 is then captured and then supplied to our customers as well as many other users of CO2.
I don't think there's anything wrong with capturing it from the smokestack. I mean, it's not my preference, but I'm just interested. The commercial model is harvesting the carbon credits, right?
It's a third of the model. The 2/3 of the model is the licensing revenue of what we charge to concrete producers by allowing them to lower their cement consumption as a outcome of using this technology.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Showing that you need innovation in both business model and technology.
Absolutely.
All right. Our next presenter is going to be Nidhi Pant. She's the co-founder of S4S Technologies, and she and her team are the winner of the Earthshot Prize 2023. So please welcome Nidhi.
S4S stands for Science for Society. I come from a farming family in India, and the total income of farmers of my community not only depend on the shape, size, and the color of their harvest, but also whether they have markets to access it. Untimely rains, heat waves, and climate change has led to 25 to 30% of the total harvest of farmers to be lower grade. This lower grade produce does not get the right price in the market. This lower grade produce is sometimes the cost of harvesting and transporting this produce is greater than the value of the produce. This leads to smallholder farmers in India throw away their produce before they can even take it to market. India loses food worth $14 billion, and there are 126 million smallholder farmers in poverty. When this produce goes to the landfill, it not only emits greenhouse gases, but it also wastes other natural resources, such as land, water, energy, capital, whatever has gone in producing this. Also, in the rural parts of India, you do not have enough electricity for farmers to store and preserve their produce. At S4S, we work at the intersection of energy access, agriculture, and gender. We help smallholder farmers become processors by giving them access to technology. We help them set up small solar-powered farm factories so that they can process their produce at the farm gate. So instead of selling a tomato, they are now selling ketchup. We not only help them get access to technology, but we also provide them affordable financing. We work with smallholder women farmers who are new to credit, do not have access to bank accounts, and do not have any disposable income or credit history on the basis of which the banks can lend them. We partner with various banks which provide them collateral-free loan at 6%. These women farmers who were working initially as daily wage workers or farm laborers can now have access to these solar-powered food processing technologies. These could include dehydrators, solar-powered grain millers, biomass-based milk evaporators, and they can process their produce. We then aggregate all this produce and take it to a central facility where we do quality control and do further value addition and make it fit for the use of the customer. And then sell these as food ingredients to large corporates, such as Nestle, Unilever, Indian Railways, Sodexo, to more than 2,500 institutional customers. In this process, we save more than 300,000 tons of CO2 from entering the environment, as we are making the entire food processing value chain more sustainable by the use of solar-powered in processing and also preventing food from getting wasted. These women farmers earn an assured additional income of $1,500 to $2,000, and this helps them come out of poverty. These food ingredients we sell more than $30 million worth of food ingredients to large corporates, and these can be customized based on what the customer needs. In this process, we are working with 400 villages in India and over 300,000 farmers and 2,000 women entrepreneurs who have access to technology and can process their produce from getting wasted. Thus, our impact lies in 3 ways. First is with this additional income, the farmers can become more climate resilient. With this additional income in their hands, they also know how to deal with climate variability. That's helping them adapt to climate change. Second is decarbonizing the entire food processing value chain, making it more equitable and sustainable. Third is preventing the food from getting wasted. And fourth is giving 10 to 15% additional income to smallholder farmers and doubling down the household income of women entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Now to the questions.
Congratulations, Nidhi, on winning the Research Prize. And this is music to my ears. I told you I run the largest gender equal tech fund in Africa, and to see you scaling triple bottom line solutions like this in India is very inspiring. So the question for me is really to understand better your business model. So did it start as a kind of charity, or is it an NGO, or is it a company with like a really impact focus? And are you raising commercial capital, or is it catalytic funding? So tell us a bit more about that side of the business.
We are a for-profit organization. We do $30 million in revenue, and we have raised Series A, total raise of $15 million total. We are raising Series B in debt as well as in equity.
That's pretty impressive. So what does it take to scale that beyond the funding?
Yes, we are looking for more corporate partners for whom we have more predictable revenue. So once we have established demands from more corporate players, we can increase our supply chain. We work with various partners. That's why non-profit. So our value chain is completely replicable for different products, for different geographies. We first solve the demand part. So we are also starting to export. We are currently in 3 major categories, which is fruits and vegetables, pulses and grains and spices.
And quickly, just moving forward, if you see at your revenue generation, do you see it coming from the fintech part mostly, from the e-commerce part and the transaction mostly, from charging value-added services like logistics? What's your thinking around that?
Our revenue is only we have 20% gross margins on the food products.
Okay.
We are profitable. We don't charge anything on equipment or on financial services.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm extremely interested, and thank you and congratulations again. I'm extremely interested in the developing markets throughout India, Africa, Latin America. How will you roll it out quickly? Because I think it's a great idea. It's probably a replicable idea, which is great for the world. But to maintain the advantage of you as an inventor, entrepreneur, how will you roll it out fastest?
Yes, we partner with organizations who already have trust levels established. So we work with UN World Food Program, UN Women, or government who are already working in those regions, who have worked primarily on pre-harvest. We are post-harvest. So we partner with them. They give us the leads for the micro-entrepreneurs. And then we partner also with the banks so that they can also fund them for giving loans. But the major network effect comes when we do a pilot with 200 women. They see the income going to them, and then it's their friends, family, communities. So the word of mouth is very strong. We have more than 500,000 people in waitlist in India itself, so we are yet not expanding to other geographies. The word of mouth has worked immensely for us.
And just one more question, if I could. Microfinance organisations can be always looking for opportunities like yours. Are you working with them? How can you really extrapolate what they do to work really well with what you do?
Yes, financing, we started working with some of the other agencies. What we saw was that for this profile of women is the most riskiest for them. They are new to credit. They don't have any credit history, though that they don't have any collateral. The land is not on their names for the women. Due to patriarchy, it goes to the husband. That's why the nationalized banks are the best partners to us. We started at 31%. When that financing was coming in with microfinance, the net income in the hand of the women was very meager, was not substantial enough for them to continue or be interested in this kind of work. So we need that the rate of financing to really come down, and that's where we work with State Bank of India, various other banking partners who provide them with this affordable financing at 6%.
And lending to women
Yes, 100%.
is much more reliable to be repaid
Absolutely.
statistically than lending to men.
Yes, we have less than 2.1% of default.
Exactly. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. One more.
Nidhi, congratulations on building so much scale and doing it profitably, which is never easy. My question is, it's been difficult historically to make money from the bottom of the pyramid historically, and that segment is, of course, very price sensitive as well. So what is there in the business that creates a moat and prevents someone else from coming in, others from coming in, offering better prices, and from this being a very difficult business to make money from?
Yes, if you actually see what we have done is that it's a business model innovation where we focus on agri inefficiencies and also on food inefficiencies. So we integrate both of these value chains. So there are people who would know the agri side of it, but for them to know the product market fit, what works with large corporates, what quality standard works with them, the biggest challenge in any decentralized model is the quality. So we have been able to maintain that in the most efficient manner. And second is that we do not make money off them. We make money only when they make money. So they produce this, they get at a price, and then we add our premiums and sell, which is, we are trying to do more and more value addition. So instead of like a tomato powder, we want to do ketchup or encapsulated ginger, more science-based products over which we can expand our margins. That will make us more defensible. But we make money only when they make money, so it's easier.
All right. That's brilliant. Thank you. Our next entrepreneur is Han-Sung Cheng. Han-Sung is the co-founder of the Tire Collection, and he's a winner of the Terracarta Design Lab Prize. Han-Sung?
Hello, everyone. Perfect. So, hello, everyone. I'm Han-Sung. I'm the co-founder of the Tire Collective. So when we talk about vehicle pollution and zero emissions, at the moment, that conversation is just focused on the exhaust. But what's ignored is the whole world of non-exhaust emissions, specifically tire, brake, and road wear. And this really is the dirty secret of the transport industry. Tire wear is actually the second largest microplastic pollutant in our oceans, toxic to marine life, and a major source of air pollution. In fact, walking down the streets of London, where I live, we're breathing in more tire wear than exhaust. And this problem only gets worse with electric vehicles because they're heavier and have higher torque. And this problem is important specifically to industry because new regulation is here. For example, in the US, the California EPA listed 6 ppd, an additive in tires linked to killing 90% of salmon population, as a toxic chemical. And starting from 2025, the Euro 7 vehicle standards will require all vehicles to start reducing tire emissions. And that is the same standard regulating exhaust emissions to date. And so in other words, without capturing and tackling tire wear and non-exhaust emissions in our transition to EVs, transport itself as a whole will never really reach zero emissions. So at the Tire Collective, we're spearheading the capture and monitoring of tire wear by developing solutions to capture this pollutant at source using our patent-pending electrostatic technology. Our first product, what you see here, is a retrofittable device attached behind the wheel, capturing tire wear as you drive. And we also work with rubber recyclers to upcycle this pollution into new products, and also researchers to fill knowledge gaps for future policy. And with over 1.4 billion vehicles globally emitting tire wear daily, we offer an extremely scalable solution to disrupt this $3 trillion automotive industry. And we target commercial fleets like last-mile delivery vans in the UK, with the aim to scale advice across all commercial vehicles in the UK, EU, and US. And we have received tremendous inbound interest across industry since we launched. We work with from vehicle to tire manufacturers to tier 1 suppliers to explore how we actually integrate this technology into future EVs, building the catalytic converter for tire wear, to logistics and maintenance fleets in the private and public sectors. There hasn't been a solution for tire wear until now, and collaboration has really been the key to solving it. So since 2020, we've developed a proof of concept, ran our first on-vehicle test with Seft and Volvo cars, followed by a small fleet trial in London with an EV operator. And this year, we just completed our first paid pilot with a large US EV manufacturer, started a trial with a Dutch fleet operator, and have 3 more pilots in the pipeline. And then we really help these companies differentiate, meet upcoming regulations, improve their ESG SDGs, and reach true zero-emission mobility. And it turns out our technology is great at capturing the most harmful tire particulates and non-exhaust emissions in both our air and water. So this single tire particle that you see on the screen here is what it's all about. This is an emissions problem that is hidden just in our plain sight. So I'm here today as part of the winners of the Terracarta Design Lab, launched by His Majesty King Charles III and Sir Johnny Ive, where we use this opportunity to tackle the reuse of this pollutant as a material. to make it more relatable, increase its value, and even function by using its innate properties. Collaborating with other designers, engineers, and scientists, we produced a series of jewelry, home products, pressure sensors, and even a battery, all made from tire wear. And this work was exhibited as part of London Design Festival this year, telling the story of this pollution, raising awareness, and how we are solving this problem. Oops. And all this is possible by our impact-driven interdisciplinary team of designers, researchers, and engineers. And to fill the gaps, we have advisors in environmental research, product design, and business, supported by multiple leading organizations. We're also raising our seed round now, aiming to secure $1 million to conduct more pilots with industry, invest in further R&D, and be market ready in 2025. We have about 50% in soft commitments and are looking for investors to join us in leading the future of clean mobility, and together, save our air from tire wear. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanson. This is a great solution for a problem that many people don't even understand exists, which is great. That's what entrepreneurs do.
Yeah.
Please.
Congratulations, Hanson, from making the leap from being a successful architect to now a climate entrepreneur. So I have two questions. One is, what's the competitive landscape looking like, and how do you differentiate yourselves? And the second one is, how can we help you for that seed round? What's your ideal cap table? Does it include strategic investors, for instance?
Yeah, so there are solutions to make tires more durable or lightweighting vehicles, but that reduces the rate of wear, but doesn't actually completely remove these particulates from entering the environment, which is what our technology does. There are other solutions that work on kind of direct non-exhaust emissions capture. They use very different technologies that are heavier and also very energy intensive. Our device is quite low cost, but also very energy efficient. In terms of our seed round, yeah, we are looking for strategic investors in logistics, in hardware, and also with vehicle manufacturers as well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hanson, thank you for walking us through it. So I run a ride-hailing and a food delivery, grocery delivery business. There are a lot of cars on the road. We need to make our drivers or captains earn more money. Is this something that they can put in their cars and make more money? And if yes, how does that work?
Yeah, so we primarily work with commercial fleets at the moment, just because we need a centralized depot to collect all the particles that we capture. I guess you can make money through generating data from tire wear, but also collecting the waste that you capture, which can be used for upcycling purposes, and that has a value to it. So there's potential to make money through this device. Yes.
Okay. There's a SaaS type of model that we heard a bit earlier that would be super interesting.
There is.
Thank you. And look, congratulations. I'm a marine ecologist, so I'm terrified. I wake up at night worrying about tire wear, all the nanoparticulates which come out of tires are really atrocious. So firstly, thank you for the great work that you do. Secondly, how does the capture part actually work, and how mass replicable is that? And do you think you'd be able to push for legislation of that if it's mass replicable?
Yeah, so what we found is that the tires themselves are charged from friction with the road, and that we are able to use electrostatics to attract it. And our first prototype was really a tire, some sandpaper, and a balloon. And that's kind of how we started, really. In terms of regulation, we realized that there's a lot of knowledge gaps in understanding what tire particles are, even from what they look like to the chemicals that they leach into the environment. So it's not just the particles themselves, but the chemicals inside it that leach into the environment, right? So a lot of our studies now with labs around the world and also with governments is on monitoring, measuring, but also understanding the toxicity of these particles and how it interacts into our environment as a way to kind of push legislation and make informed decisions using this data and knowledge.
And the replicability of it?
Yeah, so the electrostatics is a very traditional technology. I think the innovative aspects of what we do is use it to capture tire wear. So there's a lot of scaled solutions around this. So we do work with experts in electrostatics to scale this up, and we could potentially integrate this into the car quite easily.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our last pitch comes from Nicole Mao. She's the co-founder of Tiger New Energy.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Tiger New Energy. Before we dive into our journey, I would like to ask all of you a quick question to wake everyone up. How many of you have been to Bangladesh before? Oh, I see a few hands. Good, good. So don't worry, for those of you who haven't been to Bangladesh or haven't heard of Bangladesh, it was new to me a few years ago. So our journey started 2.5 years ago during the height of COVID. So it was right before our graduation from Harvard Business School MBA, and I decided to kidnap my classmate and now my co-founder, Yiwei, to a so-called spring break trip to Bangladesh. I know, right? Bangladesh for spring break. It's such an uncommon choice. So why I picked Bangladesh? Because I am a strong believer of a famous quote, when two roads diverge, I choose the one less traveled by, and that has made all the differences. So today, I'm going to kidnap all of you to take you on this wonderful journey to Bangladesh with me. So before we departure, for the safety notice, in the driver's seat, you will find two co-founders with diverse background. And me, I'm Nicole. I come from the consulting background. I work at Boston Consulting Group before. And my co-founder, Yiwei, she's the tech person, and she worked at Alibaba Group before. And what united us is our shared passion and vision to lead the green mobility transition in emerging markets. We share the same vision with COPE. No one should be left behind in this green transition revolution. So now you might think, okay, Nicole, now I get it, emerging markets. Then why among all the emerging markets, you pick Bangladesh? So let me take you to Bangladesh through a video. So this is the Bangladesh economic data. We're not going to through, but we're going to watch this video. So I think they're gonna play it for us, right? Yes.
Bangladesh, the 8th most populated country in the world, is full of hustle and bustle of everyday life. In this young and rising economy, electrical three-wheelers play a vital role in the lives of 170 million people. From busy markets to residential neighborhoods, millions of electrical three-wheelers provide easy connectivity, opening the doors to electric mobility. From the main road to narrow alleyways, the electrical three-wheelers expedite navigation and provide convenience in mobility through the busiest and narrowest roads. It simply makes people's life worry-free. However, in Bangladesh, these e-mobility adopters encounter several challenges, like inadequate infrastructure, charging downtime, and the high initial cost of batteries.
So this is Bangladesh. Looks very chaotic, but full of opportunities, especially in the EV space. Here is the kicker. Without any government subsidies, there are already 3 million electric three-wheeler users in Bangladesh, and over 40 million people that rely on those electric three-wheelers to commute. So they are in Bangladesh like the electric taxi. So those are Bangladesh's special approach to EV, which I think is very practical and innovative. However, those electric three-wheeler users, they are facing lots of challenges when it comes to that battery. One is range anxiety. So those batteries that are currently using a lead acid, they can only last for 4 hours, and the charging downtime is another 4 hours. And secondly is affordability. Those batteries cost them from $250 to $500 to buy. And how much is that money? It's 2 months of their income. To make the matter even worse, the drivers spend 2 months of their income to buy those batteries. And those batteries they are currently using are very low quality, can only last them 6 to 12 months. So when we witness all these challenges, a strong conviction took root within us. All these 3 million innovative EV users, they deserve a better battery solution. They deserve something they can truly rely on to improve their livelihoods. They deserve a green future. So how are we approaching this issue differently? We developed this battery swapping model. So it only takes them 1 minute to swap the worn-out battery, and we only charge the users $1.5 per day for unlimited swap. So we changed the business model, selling battery as a product to sell battery as a service. And this subscription model offers transformative benefits to the users. Firstly, it's much cheaper. Instead of spend $250 to $500 to buy, now you only pay $1.5 per day for unlimited swap. Secondly, our user can make more income. So our current pilot shows our user can more 60% every day, because without charging breaks, they can ride much longer per day. Lastly, we help the nation to make green transition from lead-acid battery to lithium battery, leading a greener Bangladesh for just $1.5 per day. So this is not just about providing a service. It's about making meaningful impacts on people's lives and also the environment. So far, our trajectory has been remarkable. We are hitting 6 million this year, and we have been profitable year 1, year 2, and also year 3. Also, all our CapEx has more than 1 year payback period. Since launch, we have received overwhelming attention from the society, from the users, from the partners, and also from the government. We have to open, specialize, and hire additional person just to answer the enthusiastic phone calls from the people. And we also received special attention from the government. I received direct message from the technology minister and also the chairman of BIDA saying that, Nicole, thanks so much for your commitment to Bangladesh and to the people. So we are super confident, thank you. We are super confident to win this battle in this growing and sizable market with no strong competitor inside and a proven business model outside. And thank you for joining me on this journey. Together, let's lead to a way to a sustainable future, starting with Bangladesh and going beyond.
Thank you so much, Nicole. This is great. You're right, that's the road less traveled by.
Thank you.
So, please, questions?
Congrats, Nicole. It's very impressive what you've achieved in so little time, especially getting actually to profitability. So I would love to hear more about your unit economics. How do you achieve that? Is it because you have an amazing lifetime value? The customer acquisition cost is so low because they need you? Is it like you have little churn? So tell us a bit more about that, because I think it will inspire other climate entrepreneurs in the room.
Yes, it's actually a very simple economics terms that we're playing here. It's asymmetry information. So one thing that customers should know, but they don't know, is even though buying lithium battery is very expensive, but the life cycle for lithium battery is much longer. So lithium battery per charge is much lower than lead acid. However, since customer didn't know, they think I don't invest in so much capex to buy lithium. I'm okay with lead acid. So we break through by our battery as a service subscription model. We charge them per charge because per charge is much lower, so we still be able to make profit.
No, I get that, but what's your LTV on CAC, for instance? Because you do SaaS, right?
Yes.
And for SaaS to be scalable and profitable in the long run, you need to have very little churn.
Yes.
And to have that lifetime revenue, grow over time with very, very little customer acquisition costs. So would you like to share some numbers with us, or at least that ratio?
Yes. So the ratio is currently our payback period for the battery is less than 1 year,
Okay.
and so the gross profit, if we calculate the lifetime of the battery, is 80%.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Look, congratulations again. With the battery, so it's very useful to drive little vehicles or motorbikes and things around. Do you also encourage them to take, say, the batteries home for domestic use, switch on the lights so kids can do homework, then put the battery back in? Is it multi-use or just in the vehicle?
So can you repeat that question again?
Batteries can be taken in and out.
Yes.
So do you encourage them also to be used domestically,
Yeah.
i.e. to switch the lights on so kids can do homework?
So sorry, I don't think I...
Yeah, let me clarify. Let me
Okay, I
try.
think it's my
So,
English.
no, it's okay. Your English is great. What he's wondering is whether you can use this battery in the car, but also can you use it in the home so they can have light at night, for example?
Okay. It's a great question. Sorry. So technically, you can, but they're actually different type of battery. So if you want to use home, it's more like a UPS battery. So battery as a backup power, and what you are using the car is called power battery. So how you run the battery and the current and the voltage is a little bit different, and also how you do the plug is a little bit different. So it will be you need a little bit special design, so it's not that compatible. You can easily make the switch, but I think it's a good idea. So if we can make it compatible, maybe it'll be easy to develop the multi-usage for the battery.
I think that would really extend your market and certainly make a great contribution to Bangladesh, where they have huge problems with domestic power supply, particularly for homework at night.
Yeah. So currently we develop them for different purpose, but I think it's a good idea to think about if we can make it multi-purpose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Do you have a question?
Nicole, thanks for being adventurous and going to Bangladesh and solving this problem. Just want to understand, what is the barrier to entry for others in this market? And how do you ensure that the 10% margin that you currently have will sustain over time?
Yes. So there are two, the mode for the market, there are two parts. So one is the hardware and another is the software. So when we do the hardware design, we localize lots of things in our battery. So for example, Bangladesh is very hot. So if you just take a normal battery that you would run in the US, in the EU, and make it in Bangladesh, it will not work. It will highly likely to explode. So we make special design in the battery management system to make sure it will stop functioning and stop charging when the temperature goes above 45 degrees. So it will have less risk of explosion and make the whole solution much safer. And another hardware solution that we did fits to Bangladesh's situation is there are lots of situation you will see electricity outreach, and you will not expecting electricity all the time. Then for the swapping process, you actually need electricity. Then what if there's no electricity? Then how do you do the swapping? So our special design is we take every battery in the cabinet as a kind of like a storage. So when there is a battery, they take electricity from the grid. When there's no electricity, battery kind of as a backup power to pay back to the station. So that's how we do the offline swapping. So all this localization part that we have done to feed the Bangladeshi situation make us the mode on the hardware side. And for the software side, it's actually a very important fleet management techniques. It's like how you make sure if one station is profitable, then how you make a circle 5 stations and 10 stations also profitable. So we have developed a playbook of playing stations. So we develop city landscape into different types. So high density area, mid density area, and the low density area. So we developed the theory in different city landscape, how we place our battery stations to make sure we optimize our UE under different situations and under different city densities.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have a few minutes, and so I would like to have each of the panelists just take a minute to say a few words about what they saw and what they expect to see in the future. So I'm going to go in order this time. Andrew, go first.
Okay, thank you. Well, to all the panelists, I'd say really hearty congratulations. What I'd love about each of you is that you're addressing the most pernicious, wicked problems which are facing the world, and I really thank you for that. Each of you have in common a very strong entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm very curious now that that how you grow out your organisations. I really want you to keep in mind that culture, a set of values which underpin your culture, will eat strategy for lunch. That if you can really build up a very strong team, place your light on the hill, which everyone agrees to, then keep a very focused, disciplined approach to achieving that, then you each have such scalable operations that if you can maintain a really strong, tight-knit culture, you can call it a wolf pack, a galloping herd, or anything you like. But if you can really build up that teamwork, then I think you have immensely scalable companies, immensely scalable ideas, and you deserve investment and you deserve support, and you certainly deserve, in many cases, legislative support so that we can start to eliminate some of these really gross distortions which we're having from the capitalist, pure free capitalist market, which is not answering the massive environmental problems we face today. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Fatoumata, please.
Well, this was a very humbling and inspiring experience because you come here to judge and you walk away learning and actually willing to help them scale and potentially invest or co-invest alongside them. So like my advice really would be to be also able to, number one, keep that double bottom line or triple bottom line orientation at heart. Because they are really demonstrating that we don't have to choose between having great unit economics like Nicole and solving climate change issues or having great social impact like Nidhi is having with these women entrepreneurs in India, and we need more of them. And oftentimes we see that there is a tension between those, and that's why I ask so many questions about the financial, the unit economics, the equity story, because the very sad part is that they are going to be it's a tough journey to fundraise, actually, when you are a climate entrepreneur or a social entrepreneur. So showcasing that you are able to have a very strong commercial return, drive impact on your community, have impact on the environment on a very long scale. And the second thing will maybe to be able to focus, and I think be able to scale in their domestic markets and have these unit economics that they need to get before looking at international markets, because you always have this tension between growth, expansion, and profitability, and it can be sequenced. So I'll encourage them to really be able to focus, but also to keep their DNA of being true triple bottom line entrepreneurs. Finally, they can reach out. After this, it was very frustrating because it's very short, but I'm looking forward to helping each and every one of them on their journey next. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. And then Mudassir, please.
Yeah, just two quick things. I think one, many of these businesses are quite impact oriented. So I think just double clicking on the point that Andrew made, there is an opportunity to create a culture that is very sort of purposeful and mission oriented, which I'm sure you guys are. It's not easy to scale it when you have so many other pressures pulling you in different directions, but keep that culture, keep that purpose orientation. And secondly, maybe a word of caution. In 2000, I joined a startup that said mobile is the next big thing and that we'll invest a lot of money very quickly and become the leader in mobile. Of course, mobile happened, but by the time mobile happened, we'd already spent all our money. So I think this feels like in some of these places, this could be a slightly longer haul. So just make sure that you are keeping a culture that is very frugal, keeping unit economics close to heart, and play for the long haul as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I started today by asking you to lean in, to say yes, and to be committed to helping this group of entrepreneurs and other entrepreneurs that you might run into, because we all need to be helping. We all need to be allies. I've already seen this group of panelists lean in, and I know that they're already going to help and are committed to helping in the future. And so to thank the organizers, to thank the panelists, to thank the entrepreneurs, but also to thank you because you're committed to helping. I want to just leave you with the words of one of my favorite entrepreneurs, Steve Jobs. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as crazy ones, we see genius, because the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. So thanks to everybody in this room, because I know you're all part of the crazy ones. Thank you.
Done. Thank you, everybody. What an incredible and inspiring session. Could I encourage you, I know we're at the end of the day, to give us 2 more minutes for something at the end of the day where there's been a lot in the head, just to receive something a little bit into the heart. 2 minutes, I want to introduce an incredible man. Sasha Jaffrey is a world-celebrated artist and humanitarian. He is also a true raw talent, passionate about art, passionate about the environment, and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He had a hard gig when he first did this. He's now painted this painting because everyone was leaving. Stay with him, the one and only Sasha Jaffrey.
Bless you, Bear. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you, Bear Grylls. What a lovely opening. Good evening, everyone. I won't speak for long at all. I know it's been a long day. Firstly, I apologize for looking like this. It's been 2 days, 42 hours of painting non-stop. I've produced something that I'm really proud of, and I want to share it with you now. If we can bring it in the center of the stage. Thank you. How's it looking? Oh, it's looking beautiful. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to talk very briefly and let you know what this is about and the idea and the ethos and the intention behind it. This obviously represents our globe, our Earth, our planet as it is, with the continents, the countries as they are laid out, disparate, disconnected. That's our Earth as we know it. But the idea of this painting is that through intention, pure intention, reflection, love, and empathy, we collectively can reconnect our planet. It is possible. But we can do it through intention, not through will. Will is weak because will is from the mind. Intention comes from the inside. It encompasses everything that we are about as a humanity, our projection of energy, our vibrations, the things that are the most powerful parts of us. And through that, we can reconnect humanity. That is my vision. I think it's a really important thing to focus on as a humanity. Hopefully you'll see the Earth, and then you'll see this heart in the center and 2 figures entwined as they reconnect our world with love, empathy, and compassion. We will then auction this piece quite soon. You'll know about it when we do, and we'll be raising funds and awareness for 2 really important causes. UNHCR, the displaced refugees of our world that need our help. Inshallah, we will have peace soon. And the other important cause is for the adaptation of climate change. 0.4% of funding goes towards this area, and it's a critical area because it helps those that really can't do anything about it. So this painting, I hope, will go to those causes and help make a difference. We've then had the various dignitaries who have been with us the last 2 days, who have signed and put their thumbprint in the various hearts around, really adding to the history and the memento of this piece. We have the one and only Badr Jaffer here. Thank you, sir. It was actually his idea, so thank you, Badr Jaffer. We have Her Excellency Lema, who is the DG of WWF. It was wonderful to have her there. Ansari, who is obviously the astronaut. We have Vice President Al Gore, right in the middle, a great activist, a great philanthropist. Bill Gates, all the great philanthropists of our world that have been with us for these last 2 days. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you can feel that energy of love, and I hope you can take it away with you in your heart and project it into our universe and change our world together. Thank you.
Sasha, will you stay with us? Stay with me on stage. Let's come around again. Move you back. Which is such a lovely way to conclude today. And I know so many of you have stuck with it through so many panels. We've heard so much from leaders, from visionaries, those entrepreneurs, so inspiring. I spoke yesterday at the start about being on the right side of history. So important, about trying to do the right thing for our planet, for our children. And it's the most powerful question any of us can ever get asked is by our children, what did you do, Papa? What did you do, Mama? You know, hard questions. And they say the longest journey is from our head into our heart. But there's another journey. It's when it goes from the heart out to our muscles. You know, actually not just learning it in here, not just feeling it in here, but then doing it, putting it into action. And that's what you're about. Badr is what you are about. It's about what the entrepreneurs are about, from the Bill Gateses to those incredible stories. Together, doing it. You guys, you've been with us every step of the way the last few days. This has been a moving one for me, and thank you for being part of the journey.
Thank you, Badr.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, brothers and sisters, so you've had the inspirational ending there. I'm not going to try and top that in any way. I'm just going to take a moment, please, just to thank, don't want to ruin the painting, just to thank, well, everybody, really everybody that's been a part of putting this together. Of course, Sasha, before he leaves, dear Sasha, wonderful, wonderful artist, wonderful human being. Dear Bear, dear Aida, for being our hosts also for the last 2 days. Of course, the Business and Philanthropy Climate Forum team, who really worked tirelessly. Our amazing strategic partners, the SMI, thank you so much, Jen, and to your amazing team as well. To all the delivery partners, you know who they are, but again, tremendously grateful for, this really was a collective effort. COP is not over. As you know, we have 10 days to go. And yes, this was sort of a concentration of business and philanthropy. And we hope that we can continue to inspire future COP presidencies to do better and to go bigger on this. But of course, the next 10 days, we will have a lot of business and philanthropy infused into the action agenda. So do stick around. And again, want to thank everybody, our amazing speakers, all of you, and thank you so much for being with us the past 48 hours. Thank you again.